Buenos dias. My name is Megan Blake, and I'm a Spanish teacher in Northwestern Pennsylvania. And today we're going to be talking about how you can use the PDF files that you already have with distance learning for your students. So, PDF resources are great. They don't take up a whole lot of space. They are very easily copyable. They're very easy to organize, and you can print as many of them as you need to at any given time. But that's dependent on being able to print them and get them to our students, which is easy enough when you're in your classroom. But in this situation, if your practice and your instruction requires PDF resources that you already have and you don't particularly want to recreate or retype, then there are a couple of things that you can do to be able to utilize that resource and make it accessible and editable for your students. All right, let's get started. So Google Drive is going to be your friend when it comes to this type of activity. If you do not yet have a Google account, I would suggest that you get yourself a Google account. Setting up a personal Gmail is very simple and easy as going ahead and making an account anywhere else for anything else. If your district has already created Google for you and your students, awesome. If you already had your own personal Google account, awesome. Any of these options will work perfectly fine. However, if you do have a school Google account, that means you also probably have Google Classroom. And that's going to make this actually a whole lot easier for you to distribute this document to your students. It's going to make it easier for them to create their own version of it. In fact, it creates it for them. And it's going to be easy for them to fill it out, complete it, do the work, and then turn it in one centralized location. And it's a very streamlined and very simple process for you to give them feedback or give them a grade if your district is doing grades right now. So you're going to be going to Google. If you already have your Google account, awesome. You've already got this set up. I'm going to tilt my screen just a little bit. Okay. You'll already have this set up. Perfectly fine. So you're going to go up to this upper right-hand corner of the screen from the Google homepage to these 9 dots that my students like to call the waffle. So you're going to click on the waffle, and then from there you're going to be clicking on the Google Drive icon. Go ahead and click Google Drive. And the first thing you're going to need to do from here is to make sure that the PDF that you want to work with is already on your drive. If it is not already located on your Google Drive, you're going to go over here to the New button, click File Upload, and from there you're going to, on your computer, choose the file you wish to upload. Now, mine is already located. This is not the computer I usually use for school due to some microphone issues earlier. So I'm going to just click on a random thing. So we're going to click on this Good Luck Charlie JPEG. And then I'm going to click Open. It's a very similar process if you're utilizing a PC versus a Mac. So just follow the prompts and it'll get you where you need to go. And then you'll see it shows up right here, whatever you just downloaded. Now, if it's not here for whatever reason, or if you got kind of turned around, anything that you've been recently working with will be right here under your Recents tab. So go ahead and click that Recent tab on the left-hand side, and everything you've been working with recently is going to show up across here. Now, I'm going to actually be working with this document right here, this PDF. So I'm going to double-click it, and that's going to open it up for me to be able to see it. Up above the document, there is a tab that says Open With. That is what we are going to be clicking next. I'm going to click Open With and scroll down to Google Docs. I'm going to click that, and what's really cool is that it's going to go ahead and create a Google Doc using the information that was in that PDF file. Now, the only real downside with this right now is that there's pictures on this PDF that do not transfer over to the Google Doc. So I'm going to have to change what this activity is because it says complete each sentence using the word or phrase that best describes the picture. But that's something that's pretty simple. With just a little bit of thought, I can say complete each sentence using a word or phrase that makes sense, which allows for a little bit more creativity and a little bit more of variance in their responses. Now, I could spend some time trying to reformat this up here, but from a previous attempt, I found that there's columns involved. It's got some wonkiness going on with the formatting. I'm not willing to work with it. I'm not willing to mess with it. It's not as pretty as the original, but it is functional, and functional is what we're going for today. Now, one formatting thing I am going to do is there are spaces set up in between each of these lines. And I'm going to just go through and spend just a minute removing the spaces. This is not necessary, but this document went from being a one-page document to a two-page document because of the insane amount of spacing. So I'm just going to go ahead and spend the moment it's going to take to remove the spaces. Now I'm just clicking next to it, going to the line spacing tab, and clicking remove space before paragraph. If you have spaces in your document that you just can't seem to get rid of with changing the line spacing and deleting and everything, there's a good chance that there's a space before or after the paragraph. Click there and see if that helps. If it has a remove option, that was your problem. Now I'm going to highlight these, and I'm actually going to come back to this button and click double. And that's going to give me a more comfortable spacing option here. So now I have all of the stuff on one page. Seems a little bit more bite-sized, a little bit more manageable for my students. I'm going to rename the document. So I'm going to come up to the upper left-hand corner, and I'm just going to call it Practice Workbook 1A-1, because that is what page this is. It is automatically saved. It says all changes saved in Drive. So we now have our fully editable document that came from our original PDF. So here's the original. It's got all the same questions. And here is our copy. All of the same questions, it just doesn't have the pictures. Punctuation is there and everything. And when a student comes to fill this out, all they have to do is delete the space or type in the middle of the space. It doesn't matter, and depending on how much of a stickler you are for formatting, it's really up to you what you ask them to do. Just make sure you make your expectation known. From here, we're going to create an assignment. So I'm going to come back to my Google Drive. I'm going to click off of the PDF, and then I'm going to go back to the waffle. I'm going to click the waffle, and I'm going to click on the classroom icon. From there, I'm going to select which class I want to add this to. Now, this is a Spanish 1 assignment. It would be one that would have been appropriate for the beginning of the school year, so we are likely not going to actually complete it in my class. In fact, we don't actually use Classroom very often in my class. We haven't used it since December in the class I'm about to show you. We use Canvas more often, and I will actually show you how to create this assignment in Canvas utilizing the same document in just a moment. So if you have just a piece of information you want to share with your class, you can type it right here. Like if you want to tell them that something's coming up or wanted to let them know about something or make sure that they didn't forget, that's fine. But if you're assigning classwork, you're going to click on Classwork up at the top. Then we're going to click the Create button. It has a plus sign and Create. And we're going to scroll down to Assignment in that drop-down menu. From there, we're going to title our assignment. I'm going to call it Practice Workbook 1A-1, just to make sure that we are across the board, making sure that it is uniform. Now for instructions, I'm just going to actually come back to the document up here in the tab, and I'm going to copy the instructions. So right click, copy, and then I'm going to come back here and right click, paste. Done. Now, right here where it has the paperclip and it says add, you're going to click that. That's how you're going to add an attachment, and you're going to click Google Drive. From there, it should show up as the first thing in your recents because it's the very last thing we were working with. And mine does. And I'm going to click add. Now it says students can view file. I'm going to click that drop-down menu, and I'm going to change it to make a copy for each student. This makes it so when they click on this assignment, it's automatically going to create their own copy of the document that they can edit and then later submit for credit or submit for feedback. Over here on the right-hand side, I've got who is being assigned this. If you have multiple sections of Spanish 1, you can then add it to the other section as well. All students, unless you have some that you don't want to be assigned this. Let's say you have some students with exceptionalities that need a little bit more help and you want to assign a different assignment, that's fine. How many points is going to be possible? If you're assigning points, great, add whichever ones you want. If you are specifically told not to assign points to activities, you can click ungraded. Or you can just operate under the assumption and let kids know that the points don't matter. For a due date, I'm going to go ahead and call my due date. Let me just drag my picture over here for a second. I'm going to make my due date the end of the week. And then you can also set a time if you want to. I usually don't. And if you don't, the time is going to be 11:59 p.m. on the date you choose. Then I'm going to go ahead and click assign. Assign. There we go. So I have all my pieces, my title instructions, the attachment, what courses, the grade and everything, the due date. And it's just going to take a moment and it's going to go ahead and assign it. This is now shown up here under my classwork. And then if I click on stream, it's going to show that Megan Blake posted a new assignment, Practice Workbook 1A-1, and it's going to show what time I assigned it at as well. You're all done. So for Google Classroom, if you want to see your students' progress, you just click on the assignment. It's going to show you who has turned it in so far in the last few seconds. None of my students have turned this in. And it's going to show who it's been assigned to. So it's going to show everybody in my class that has gotten the assignment. And one of the cool things about Google Classroom that you can do is, especially if you have it create an individual document for every student, I can click and see their progress, even if they haven't turned it in. So if Jordan hasn't turned hers in yet, I can click it and I can scroll through and see, oh, well, she's been working on it. She's almost done. Or I can see that she hasn't done any of it. Or I can see that she's completed it. Maybe she just forgot to press submit. And it's a very easy submission process for them as well. You can also see over here who has completed the assignment. And on that assignment page, you are also able to leave private comments, leave feedback for them. And if you are assigning a grade, there would also be a box over here that shows their grade as well. All right, now I told you that I was also going to show you how to do these assignments in Canvas. So the original steps are the same. You make sure your PDF goes into Google Drive, open it up, save it or open it up in Google Docs from there, and then edit it however you want to edit it. After that step, you're going to go over and go to Canvas. Now you're going to go to the class that this would be assigned in. So this is a Spanish 1 activity. Then make sure that you are connected to your Google Drive in Canvas. You're just going to scroll on the left-hand side from your, I went to the dashboard, I'm sorry, from your Spanish 1 course. You're just going to go ahead and scroll on the left-hand side to Google Drive and click it. And if your Google Drive shows up here, if everything starts to show up, that means you have linked it before. If it does not show up, it's going to prompt you to log in to Google. And you would just go ahead and do that with whichever Google account you're utilizing for this activity. Then, after you've made sure you've logged in, click on Assignments. And then you're going to add your assignment here. So there's a red button with a plus sign that says Assignment. Click it. And then you're going to name your assignment. I'm going to name mine Practice Workbook 1A-1. And I'm just going to right click and paste again because I still have that instruction pasted from before. You do need to make sure that there is a point value here. Now the point value can be 0. That's fine. But in order to add the external tool, there have to be points. You cannot say it's ungraded. So when it says display grade as points, you can't go down to ungraded. You got to just leave it. It is under assignments. If you want to say do not count towards final grade, you can. But we are going to be clicking the online and we're going to scroll down to external tool. From there, we are going to click find. And then this is alphabetical. We're going to scroll down till we find Google Docs. Now, once you click that, it's going to take you to your drive. And this is where remembering what you titled the document comes in handy. So I named it Practice Workbook. What I found is that you probably don't need to type the entire thing for it to show up. In fact, sometimes it won't pull it up even if you type it perfectly because it's a little bit fickle. Now there's a bunch of templates here and I'm going to scroll until I find the one that just says Practice Workbook. It's showing me all the ones that I've assigned to students and I have assigned it a couple times to them. They're going to be a little bit confused, but I'm going to go ahead and click. This is actually the one that I just did. I'm going to click submit. Now this is very important. When it brings you back to this screen, you have to click select. You cannot click the X, you can't click cancel, you have to click select. Now my tool is listed here, and I can load it in a new tab if I want to, but it's not going to really matter a whole lot. A kid can open it in a new tab if they want to, or they can just work on it in the Canvas tab. Assign to everyone or whoever you need it assigned to. I made my due date the end of the week, and I can actually make when it's available from and when it's available till. So I'll say it's available from today, and I'll make it available till the end of this month, which is when our current deadline is for finishing up with the distance learning. Now I need to move my picture again, because over here in the right-hand corner is where you are going to finish this assignment. You can click save, but that will only save the assignment, and it will need you to publish it later so that students can view it and complete it. If I go ahead and click save and submit, they can automatically view it and complete it whenever they're able to. So I'll go ahead and click that. So this is now my assignment, Practice Workbook 1A-1. I can click it here, it'll open it up in Google Docs, or down here it is embedded into the page. And it is clickable, it is logged into my Google, so that is why my icon shows up there and I'm able to edit it here, and it will automatically create it in my account. When a student goes to submit, they will have a submission button around here that will prompt them to attach this document to it. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully you've been able to find a way to utilize some of the PDF files that you had and weren't quite sure how to use. And hopefully this will also work for even if you're emailing things out to students. You can then, from your document in Google, go File, Download, and you just download it as Microsoft Word. You can attach that to an email. It'll open it up in Microsoft. So as long as the kid has Word on their computer, they can open it and they can edit it and they can save it and they can send it back. So you can see it's bouncing, it's opening. There we go. So it's opened it up in Word now, and I'm able to edit it. I could go File, Save As, save my work, and I can attach it to an email and send it back to my teacher. So hopefully that has helped you be able to use your PDF files that you already have. No reinventing the wheel. We are looking for functional, we are looking for simple, and we are looking to make sure that we all make it out of this happy, healthy, and hopefully con una poca más práctica, with a little more practice. Have a great day. Adios. Ciao.